Bayern Munich 2, Union Berlin. No. Bayern Munich 3, Union Berlin 2. That was one of the most shambolic games I've ever seen. We were playing so bad. And I have some stats in front of me. It says that we had the ball. I can't even see, I'm blind. But it says that we had the ball 63% of the time. There was a higher XG from us, but they had more shots and more shots on target. Honestly, I do not know what to even say about that game because that game was so bad. Bad management, poor mismanagement. We tactically, the way we set up after Pavlovic went down and we put in Goretzka, it went so bad. Goretzka had an abysmal performance. The entire team actually had a horrible performance overall. I think the only people that can give any sort of credit is to the defenders and Neuer to some extent. I mean, Union Berlin scored 2 penalties, but I feel like, of course, they will feel a little bit robbed in some of those instances where they were in front of goal and could have scored. And there was one in particular that I do remember around the 87th or 86th. They had a corner or a crossing, and it was a set piece. The corner comes in. One player literally gets it on the floor, has the entire goal in front of him, and decides to absolutely miss on the ball, and the ball kind of like goes over the net. So it was a little bit unfortunate one. We scored, I think it was 2 own goals, if I remember correctly. It was 2 own goals, and both of them came from set pieces, which is quite funny. One was from a corner and the other one was from a Olise free kick. I don't know, man. That was a very poor game. I thought one of the things that I thought was funny was when Harry Kane had a goal. One of the funny things that I thought was that they were maybe going to double check if the goal Kane scored when one of the defenders touched it. I thought it was a goal, and then it ended up being a penalty because Tar accidentally touched it with his arm or something, and it came out that even though he touched it with his arm, it was an accidental one, and he was trying to get rid of his arm, and it wasn't intentional, and he didn't really have anywhere else to put the arm spot. It is what it is. They had 2 penalties. One of them was a little bit I wouldn't even call it a penalty, but it is what it is. They got 2 penalties. They scored on both of them. The one with Harry Kane was also a crazy shout. What can you do in those instances? You feel me? What can you do? You just have to accept it and move on. Now we are going to Berlin, hopefully going to the finals. Now we are moving into the semi-finals, so it's gonna be great. We have only played away games, so hopefully one of these games are gonna be at home. But yeah, it's a very great, it was a very lucky performance from us, I would say. I think hopefully we do come back a little bit stronger. That was abysmal back-to-back games. The one with St. Pauli, I didn't even bother making a video because I was so angry at us. It was such a bad game. And yes, even though the score was like 3-1 or something, I don't really remember how much the score became. I think it was 3-1 because even though it was 3-1, the scoreline didn't reflect on it. Yeah, it was a 3-1. Even though it was a 3-1, the score really didn't reflect on it. And we scored both of them like last minute, if I remember correctly. The one that like scored it was Luis Diaz, and Jackson kind of killed the game. But I think even that game was abysmal from us. We were struggling with creating chances. And one thing that I'm really seeing with Bayern Munich is that we are holding on to the ball, but we are not really doing much with it. Like we keep holding on to the ball, but we don't do much with it, which annoys me a little bit because we're supposed to be the team that is so good at creating chances. And ever since the Arsenal game, I feel like we have lost that touch of maybe being able to be more creative. And when Musiala comes back, which will be like next month, hopefully, I think things will change. And of course, having Musiala in our team is such a great thing. Even though Leonard Carl is playing a phenomenal games nowadays, and he's literally the only light that I do be seeing, and also Olise to some extent, and Luis Diaz. But yeah, Harry Kane has had a little bit of a shocker games. Ever since the Arsenal game, he has been struggling, so I can't even complain. I don't think he scored this game. If I yeah, he actually did maybe. Because it was 2 on goals and 1 Harry Kane, I think. Yeah, I think he scored. But yeah, goal drought did end with Harry Kane. Let me just double check if that's the case. I don't really remember if he scored, but I feel like he did. Yeah, he did score. Yeah, goal drought did end, but I don't know, man. I didn't like that game. Of course, people are gonna say the DFB Pokal, the DFB organization are against Bayern Munich, and yeah, they wanted us to lose. I wouldn't say so, because it is what it is. They had 2 on goals, which were very unfortunate, and one of the penalties that they got with Harry Kane and the elbow thing, of course, is a little bit whimsical. We don't really know if it's going to be a penalty or not, and that's like kind of the decision based on the VAR people that are there currently. If they do believe that he should not be having his elbows out, but where do you exactly like put your arms when you're jumping? Because like when you're jumping, you know what I'm saying, you're doing this movement normally, and if his head is somehow like in that area, and of course they're trying to like prevent any head injuries and stuff, and connecting arms with the head, and that being a foul and all that stuff due to the new regulations and stuff. But at the same time, you don't really know where to put your arms, because you can't be jumping stiff. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that was a very like iffy kind of penalty. But the Tar one was just too funny, because we were looking at Harry Kane maybe getting a goal, and then that turned into actually Tar is getting a penalty. No, he had a handball. So it's funny, but I think we can move on from this game and think that, you know what, even though this was a horrible performance, it is what it is. We're just going to be focusing on the Stuttgart game. We will probably win, but it's going to be also a very interesting game, because Stuttgart are now 6th, I believe, in the Bundesliga table, and they have had an okay amount of performances with, winning, losing, winning, and then some draws in there. So I think if they have been winning every other game, and they won the previous one, if I remember correctly, or what did they? I think they lost, so there's a high chance that they win. So I don't know. We will see though. But yeah, that was it. Give me your thoughts down below on the result and what you guys think. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you lot probably on Sunday. I'll say, I think, or Saturday. I don't remember when the game is. I think it's Saturday. So I'll see you guys on Saturday. Peace.